Honestly, I'm surprised no commentary YouTubers have covered this yet because it's a pretty big topic in the sphere I'm in online, but I do recognize that it's a completely obscure website, so I'm taking this into my own hands. So, Quotev. It's a site that was made in 2008, and its main purpose is for quizzes and fan fiction. It used to be called Quotev, but it changed its name in or around 2012. It gained popularity because of how it was very easy to use and it was a way to connect socially with people. I personally know a lot about this site because once upon a time I was on it. And by once upon a time I mean until about a month ago. There are a lot of theories as to who actually runs the site, but no one knows, and that makes it very unique for a website, and kind of disturbing for some people because you want to know who is controlling how you use your internet. Some users did an extensive search a while ago and found out that the admins were based out of Wyoming. I'm not quite sure how they came to that conclusion, but I will trust them for that. People also think that the site is connected to Facebook in some way, but it definitely never rose to the popularity of Facebook. Quotev was originally a quiz and writing site, but the introduction of Activity Feed made it a lot more social. So to get into the mind of a Quotev user like myself, we must first explain how it worked. And I don't mean the mechanics of the site, I mean the social aspect. I've seen this site commonly referred to as Twitter for middle schoolers, and I feel like it fits pretty well. Despite the site having a 13+ age limit, there were definitely way too many people under 13 on there. If you check the activity feed at any given moment in time, there would be a bunch of call-out posts and somebody arguing, somebody venting. It was a crazy time. I sound like I'm being nostalgic, but it was only a month ago that all of this went downhill. So let me just quickly explain some terminology for the outsiders who are viewing this. The first thing we've got to address is carrots. Carrots were typically younger users who leaned more heavily into using the fanfiction and quiz making aspects of the site and less into the social part. They also tended to have over-designed profiles, very long about me sections, and the user base really hated them, and I'm not quite sure why. It was probably a cringe culture thing, which you know how I feel about if you know me. Westies were also a prominent piece of Quotev culture. They were normally adults on the other hand, and their profile pictures were usually random people. They had a particular design aesthetic and were only using the social aspect of the site, and they were also hated. People tended to have very strong opinions, and still do. Quotev brands, or Q brands for short, were also an important piece of the site, even though they went in and out of fashion. By the way, if any of you remember a Zoom brand, that was me. Hi, I'm sorry. Q brands were accounts that role-played as brands. They had their own lore, their own designs, they made it their own, basically. People had differing opinions on the brands, and as always, there was drama in between them all of the time, but in retrospect, I'm sure we can all agree that they were fun, right? Anyways, the site also had an unfortunate reputation for banning people for apparently no reason. I say this as someone who has been banned. I got banned in 2022 because I got in some drama and, I don't know, the admins maybe got a hold of it and banned me. I ban evaded for about a year and then they gave up and lifted it. Fun times. The very fun and very not toxic site was thriving until May 31st, 2024. On that day, Quotev users woke up to a shock as Activity Feed was completely gone. They had to now visit each other's profiles, click on the Activity tab, and try and find out what was going on. Upon going to private messages or groups, everyone was greeted with an announcement that those two features would be removed on July 1st, 2024. As an unfortunate coincidence, some pretty heavy drama had taken place the previous day. A satire account pretending to be Has-Been Hotel and Hell of a Boss creator VivziePop posted messages on activity feed admitting terrorism and was promptly banned from the site. This impersonator was still active on Twitter and was still actively being cancelled. Users frantically sent messages to the Quotev admins, and they were forced to come out with this announcement. Quotev News, recent changes 3 hours ago. A significant update has been released, consisting of many various changes. This includes the removal of some features, such as the recent activity page, as well as the upcoming removal of messages and groups on July 1st. Unfortunately, these features have become increasingly less beneficial to the main purpose of the platform over recent years, and were rarely used by the majority of users. We've received messages regarding several different theories on why some of these changes were made, but they were not because of any specific issue, that relating to the VivziePop account. These changes have been under development for months, and it was decided several weeks ago for them to be released on this day. Obviously, this announcement was met with outrage, and the majority of the users promptly left the site. Some people moved to an even less known platform called Plurk, some moved to Tumblr, some moved to Twitter, but the site lost a big chunk of the user base. On July 1st, the site removed messages and groups as they had promised, and nobody was really there to see it. Of course, I'm over-dramatizing this moment, but they did lose, as I've stated before, a big chunk of their users. And probably will continue to, because the social aspect of the site can't really be continued when there's no messages, no groups, and no activity feed. I really hope they reverse the changes, but there is negative chances of that happening, as they've already gone into effect. The site will now continue to lose its users, and maybe even come down. Maybe the admins will finally reveal themselves after many years of being so mysterious. But who knows? That's all for now. Hi, and welcome to my new rambling section. This is where I give people updates and maybe overshare a little bit. So first of all, here's my new PNG tuber model. I drew it myself. It took a lot of time, 8 hours, 8 whole hours, and so please don't make fun of it. I would love to have a VTuber model, but those cost so much money and I don't even have the technology to do that, so it'll be this for now, except in vlogs, which I'm trying to do more of in the future. I still made this video though because no one is talking about the situation because of how obscure it is, but the user base wants answers, and we will get it however we need, which means posting a video, which probably doesn't have all the information in it, but that's okay. I'm not perfect. I'm me. So yeah. Bye-bye.